the PWDs, the youth, and the women them. So now then 3 categories of people and they will focus with attention more inside this project here soon. And as we go along, we get older than we call with strategic partners them, like Anita don't tell you now. Where then they work around the issues they are, so women the issue, youth the issues, and persons with disability the issues them. And from the start of the implementation of this project, we don't own several activities there. One where they build the capacity of then group of people they also will work with inside this project. And also to some extent, some of them, according to how the project is designed, we don't provide support for them, for making themselves able to engage, especially for the ABC women. But particularly today, within IASO, for talk about persons with disability, and also the first meeting is for the whole, for talk about PWDs the issue. We don't organize capacity building training for them, for building capacity, and also we don't engage them and then parents them as well. PWDs parents, we don't also engage them because for we Ccya, one of the niche now advocacy. So basically we they do advocacy on them for them particular 3 groups of people they are, so young women, youth, and persons with disability. As we all know, say their group they are so now the most marginalized groups. Women, them, youth, and persons with disability. Now groups they will consider as groups that they can left out in decision-making processes, in governance processes, and most especially the one that more we're more vulnerable now in the persons with disability. Their own situation is worse than to me from my own engagement. So I don't do me work I don't do. PWDs they need more advocacy, they need more engagement. More than the youth and women because of the situation we surround them. So as an organization, Ccya, we take that on board for make we embark on massive sensitization and advocacy because all by themselves they're not able to do everything. We consider ourselves as able, not that they're not able to. Now the situation no more how the physical appearance you will consider as challenge. But when it comes for do development programs or decision making making nothing wrong with them. They're okay just like me and you two waste them. So as an organization, we advocate for persons with disability because we realize say when they face with so many challenges and people and they pay less attention to them. Not to all civil societies then they consider them in terms of their intervention, for advocate for them, for lobby for them, for raise awareness as to what they're supposed to get, for making them get out. Lobby government, not to all organizations or civil society, then they take that on board. So we consider and say, in as much as we deal with the young population, we need for bring them come on board because they really need help. They are most vulnerable. So now that make we need a left in any of the engagements what they do, in any of the projects what they design. We they make sure say we get some components of persons with disability inside in terms of advocacy because we they advocate for the rights. We they advocate for make policies they want to put in place for address the issues then make compliance day in terms of government, in terms of we the civil society organizations, in terms of the community as a whole. So now that's what they do as an organization. And basically they just like I say within IASO on the town hall meeting, that's so the activity title. But within IASO as well for discuss on some of the issues they are so. And this now all form part of the advocacy what they talk about. And one of the things them way we dey look at how they concentrate on. Now for make we see how best we go able for improve and we work what they do the access for formal and informal education for PWDs, and also in the area of social inclusion and the human rights. How best then they involve young persons with disability in their processes they also, in decision making processes, in governance processes. And also we they look at the policies then where governments we don't put in place. At least themselves to some extent they don't try to put policies in place. Like for instance we get the Disability Act where governments we don't make. We get also the TVET policy, and we get also the policy where they talk about youth empowerment and employment. All that we want to see how best them policy they are, so where governments don't put in place, how they affect the lives of persons with disability. The TVET policy, the Disability Act, the Youth and Employment policy. So basically, now that we look at, we dey lobby governments, we dey advocate for them on their rights they are so, because plenty things they did inside their documents they are so, when are rights, when are entitlements, where persons with disability then forget. But we want to see what's at the level of enforcement, what's at the level of implementation by the government, by the institutions where they're responsible for taking them their issues they are so on board. So now that make we call on so today for me we can discuss some of their issues they are so, because we know say now burning issues them, and if we not take them on board it go really difficult for make persons with disability the issues them will be addressed. So now that make we then so, and not by mistake, we just unfortunate we not get representative from the Ministry of the Education sector and also the health, because they're very key in them processes they are so. We're not able to forget them. Nevertheless, we're able to forget at least we can respond to the call, because una know the importance of them kind of meeting they are so. So we want to appreciate una for where una make a point of duty, especially them kind of time they are so we're not to work in our way una for them una host now for the rest, except for other with duty bearers them where they not get holiday or they not get weekend. So we want to appreciate una, and as we go along, I hope say the issues that will come up, we will discuss them, and we self go able to document them very well, when we self go use in the advocacy what we do. Because we can get with meetings them, we can meet with the stakeholders them at national level. So from them discussion they are so they go. What can come out of them? Now we self they take to the level they need for advocate, for lobby them in terms of waiting persons with disability then forget. Most especially in terms of the TVET, the technical and vocational education and training aspect. So now that make we then assume. And how the program will get for bullet, almost we don't do half of them, part of the agenda. We go get this discussion here so for the steered by person with somebody way na PWD where a part of that constituency. So me not go do we go allow that person there for make it do because they can say who feels it knows it best. So it go there in the best interest and position for making able to steer this ship here for this discussion. So we go get the moderator, we go lead the discussion, and at least we few stakeholders then where maybe questions then will be posed to them. They will try for bring out some discussion, and after that we will then now go ask questions, make comments, and after that we will wrap up from that point in. Because waiting we self want from the discussion there, so and for make the issues then come out, make yourself able for document them very well, and that will be with evidence in terms of with advocacy where we will do now with various communities at different levels. So now that make we dey Nayasu. And of course we go talk with the commission, the National Commission for Persons with Disability, where we already get representative Naya. Welcome, sir. We will talk with the National Youth Commission because they're very key in what we do, and also the social welfare representative from the social welfare. We're not able to get from the Ministry of Education and Health. However, we will still continue with the program and try to see how best we will able to engage them, for make we able to get the new side of the discussion. So basically, now that make we deny so, and at this point here, so I would like for invite the person we go serve as a moderator for this session here. So just like what I'm telling you earlier, this person here so now part of the people who they advocate for when are the persons with disability, and an advocate where they talk for persons with disability, where they always remind government on their rights, the entitlement, and as well as the responsibilities. And it don't do plenty work where we don't know as an organization, and we self don't work with them, not only in this project but on other projects we don't work with them. And this person here, so not to any other person, but now the coordinator for Hope for the Blind, when I'm Mr. Abubakar Kamara. So Mr. Kamara, now he will get for lead this discussion here.